Mayong adlaw ninyong tanan. So, karon nga adlaw ako ang i-discuss ninyo ang introduction to programming. So, programming, development cycle. A program is developed for a certain purpose, and that is to provide a solution to a given problem using the computer. To do this, a programmer have to design an algorithm taken from the pieces of the basic steps arranged in the order necessary to shape up a solution. So, ang program na purpose. Na siya purpose. Yung purpose is to solve a solution. Para mabuhat ni, dapat sa computer ni mabuhatan. And, as a programmer, dapat ka maghimo o kuan, mag-design og algorithm nga kuan kanang naay siya basic steps nga order para necessary nga ma-shape nimo ang imuhang solution para makuan imong patawag imong pag-program og successful. So, next, development cycle. So, naay kuan unom ka development cycle. Makita na ninyo dira sa kilid. Naay kuan 1, defining and analyzing the problem. 2, planning the solution. 3, coding the solution. 4, test and debug the solution. 5, implementation. 6, maintenance and documentation. So, isa-isaw na nato sila discuss later. Maabot ato dara.
So, programming. So, number 1, defining and analyzing the problem. The question normally asked at this stage is, what task is to be done? Hence, the most important thing to consider before solving a problem is to identify and define the exact problem to be solved. Thus, a programmer in charge with providing solutions to a problem must have a complete understanding about the needs and the wants of the user. So, defining and analyzing the problem. Kini siya kuan kibali og na kay kuan tahay na nagpa-program sa imo. Mungutana jud ka kung unsay buhaton ug unsay dapat humanon. Kay as a programmer, ikaw ang in charge ana, imo nang responsibilidad. Kay dapat ikaw man ang magkuan. So dapat mag-ask ka kung unsay ilahang wants or needs nga ilang gusto ipalabas sa imuhang pag-program. So next, planning the solution. One of the best techniques in writing a good program is by planning. Planning is a method of preparing the actions, steps, and logical manners to achieve a specific task. If we effectively plan our actions, it can considerably reduce time and effort in writing programs that we would without planning. So, as a programmer, para mahiingon og successful niya maayo imong pag-program, dapat naadyo kay maayo nga plano. Dapat na kay kuan step by step niya logical manners para ma-achieve ang imuhang task or ang imong gibuhat. So, next. Coding the solution. Crucial to program development processes is coding. It is at this stage where the defined procedure as described in the pseudocode or as visually symbolized by a flowchart is transformed into a machine code to a programming language. Bear in mind that though a pseudocode or a flowchart serves as a blueprint, which shows the exact flow of the steps in solving the problem, yet this modeling tools is something beyond the machine's power of comprehension. So, ang pinaka-crucial jud nga kuan sa isa ka programmer or sa pag-program is ang coding. Kay taas kaayo nga kuan process ni di po niingon nga sayon maglisod ang kuan. Even though or maski pag magamit ka og kuan flowchart or pseudocode, naadyoy kuan kanang naadyoy kuan ang machine mo kuan like beyond na sa power sa machine nga maka-comprehend na ang kanang gibuhat nimo. Murag maglisod ba na murag naay dili jud tanan nga makomprehend mo nang tarungon jud nimo kuan nimo kuan mo na pinaka-crucial ang pag-coding. Number 4, testing and debugging the solution. Testing and debugging is the method of validating the program to ensure that it will correctly work and on the required task. Testing and debugging are closely related. A program is run to test whether or not it conforms to the required processes. If the rule of language is violated, it normally throws errors but generates result if the rules is approximately followed. However, being free from errors does not mean the program is doing its job correctly. In most cases, a program is executed seamlessly, but there were times when the generated output brings out as wrong results. So, to ensure that it is kuan, so para mahibaw-an nimo kung nigana jud imong pag-code, dapat imo jud siyang testingan and i-debug kay dira makita og sakto ba imong pag-code or na ba siya bug mo nang i-test jud nimo. Pero dili pud sa ingon nga perfect imong kuan imong pag-code, wala na siya bug daw. Nadyo kuan na nga like maski sakto imong pag-kuan, like wala kay sabi tawagan kanang wala ka na sayop ba, nadyoy unsahay nga ang mogawas sa imong pagkuan sayop daw mo giingon diri. So next, implementation. After the program was tested and the output generated using a copy of the live data conforms to the required output conditions, the actual use of the program begins. This time a real-time or live data is mounted and the program is executed behind the strict supervision of the implementing programmers. For the next 3 months, the output will be strictly to make sure that no errors even though the slightest measures will be left unnoticed. So, after matest ang imong program, like na-confirm na ang iyang required nga output conditions, pwede na siya igamit pero i-execute pa siya behind sa strict supervisor para ma-implement siya. Nya palabyon sa og 3 ka buwan nya aron igawa siya kay katong 3 months dito sa 3 ka buwan i-make sure og wala ba joy error or errors maski gamay rid kayo pero mailahan jud to nila murag ila jung tanaw mayog na by error nga gamay mga 3 months nga kuan pamaagi para dili maguba ang imong gihaguan nga pag-code. So next, maintenance and documentation. When the program is effectively controlling the process, the need for maintenance and documentation is mandatory. One of the reasons is future reference. It is inevitable that during the program's use, some changes might just need to be effected, as when there are changes on a company rules or some government policies, like if new taxes or new tax rates are implemented. The effect brought about by the said changes necessarily affects the programming cycle, and therefore, like the rest, the program had to be updated. So, after mag-work sa imong program or na successful imong program, need siya og maintenance and documentation nga mandatory. Kay in some point daw na future nga pagbago kay kibali og imong ang inyohang kibali og kanang naamay rules nga nabag-o makuan ang inyong program murag bag-o man siguro na. So next, what is program language? A program language is an artificial language that a computer understands. The language is made up of series of statements that is fit together to form instructions. These instructions tell a computer what to do. A program language is a set of instructions written by a programmer to deliver instructions to the computer to perform and accomplish a task. So, programming language is language siya sa computer. Nga ang computer po ay makasabot ug ang programmer. Ginagamit ni siya para ma-achieve ang buluhaton sa isa ka programmer. Ibali siya ang tulay or lagi mo siya ang mag-communicate. Mo'y language gani. So, next, mo ni siya ang mga example sa programming language. Nani sila kabuk. Python, Java, JavaScript, C++, and many more. Daghan pa na sila. Kana lang ang nadira. So, what is algorithm? An algorithm is a set of commands that must be followed for a computer to perform calculations or other problem-solving operations. According to its formal definition, an algorithm is a finite set of instructions carried out in a specific order to perform a particular task. Any step-by-step process is completed the same way every time is an algorithm. So, ang algorithm daw kay mura siya command. Di jud mura, command jud siya. Nga kinahanglan i-follow para maka-perform siya og calculation niya, makasolve og problem. And yung definition is finite set siya para ma-carry out niya ang specific order nga ma-perform sa ang isa ka particular nga task. So next, flowchart. A flowchart is a visual representation of a process or a system that uses symbols and arrows to show the flow of steps or action. Is a great way to break down complex process in simpler, more understandable parts. Ang flowchart kay ginagamit siya para sa pag-program. Diri nimo makita ang imong step by step nga dapat imong buhaton sa imong pag-program. So most sa mga programmers mo ni una ginabuhat kining flowchart. So next, pseudocode. Pseudocode is a simplified informal way of describing the steps in an algorithm or a program. It uses plain language and basic programming concepts to outline the logic and flow of a program without getting bogged down in the syntax of specific programming language. So, informal way of describing steps in a algorithm. Muna siya ang kanang step by step gyud ni siya. Ginagamit gyud ni siya sa like mo ni una ginabuhat sa mga programmer. Nagagamit ni siya og mga plain nga language nga basic sa concept sa pag outline sa mga logics and sa flow sa imong program. Mura ra gyud siya og flowchart. Ang nakakuan lang siya kay siya mga like sa pitaw ganin. Gi step by step jud siya. Gilargo na og butang. So moto siya. Muna siya ang pseudocode. So computer programming, this is the process of building something in a logical way. So example niya is automation, application, software, computer and mobile, operating and games. So kini siya automation mo ni siya enter ni siya sa programming sa makita niyo diri. Mo ni siya ang mga ginagamitan o programming, automation, application, software, operating system nya kining duwa lisod kay na. Maura to. Thank you sa pagpaminaw.